And Rishi Kohli of Pro Alpha Systematic Capital is with us. Rishi, hi, morning.
Morning.
32 is what we have in terms of India VIX. Good enough for you to sell options ahead of the big event, or would you play it slightly safer?
I think I would play it slightly safer. I mean, the event, as we all know, is like a binary event. So, and we've seen big gaps of 10, 15, 20% in the past on the event. So it becomes very difficult to sell. What we had been recommending and we had been sort of doing in the run-up over the last 2-3 weeks is playing the volatility for the short-term movements, because as we've seen, first the volatility spiked, then they came down, and then over the last 2-3 days they're again moving up. So those kind of views with the 1 week, 2 week views was playable. But now, since we are heading towards the last leg, the last 10 days before elections, I think it's going to be very difficult to do anything like that. Because even from here, in a very short-term basis, it could easily, the walls could go till 35. It's largely been ranged between 15 and 35 over the last 1 or 2 years.
Sure. So what would be your Nifty strategy in terms of option strategy? What strategy would you use? So
on the Nifty, even last time on your show, I'd said that 68, 68.50, it should see some resistance and halt, and the momentum should slow down, which is almost exactly what happened, and it has come off a little bit, 1 or 2% from there. And now, with the elections in mind, because the volatilities are there, so one thing is that directionally, I believe it could come off till around 65.50, where the 50-day moving average is there, and some previous consolidation support levels are there. So I would play that. Directionally, one could play it on futures and sort of try to cut the position before election, depending on wherever the Nifty is. And on the options, because you want to neutralize the high volatilities that are there, simple put spreads should work. But again, like just before the event, I would cut it and then wait for fresh cues.
Rishi, just getting to a couple of your picks, you have a call on Infosys.
Right. Infosys, after having fallen a few months back, it's just sort of consolidated sideways around those levels, apart from 1 or 2 days of excitement around recent results or whatever. But it has given very strong bottoming signals around 3200, various technical factors, previous consolidation supports, around 6 months to a year back. And it's given the initial signs of a bounce. So I would go long and with a quick 5-6% target and tight stop loss around 3140 levels.
What about IDFC?
IDFC is something interesting. As you know, I mean, I've almost been mentioning it every time I'm on the show, and last time around 129.30, it looked like it peaked out, it would come down, and next day, the banking license news came out, but and many people thought it would go up, but actually it came down. So it pretty much respected our view, and it's come down to around 111-12 levels here. Interestingly, the technical factors are giving a short-term buy signal. The MACD is near zero line. It's retraced, perfectly how much it should have as per the retracement theory. And given that the medium-term view is still positive, I would go long here on IDFC with a reasonably tight stop around 109, and I think it could move up to 121, 122 levels.
And IDBI Bank?
IDBI Bank, is on the radar because of a very strong, very long-term double bottom that has been created around 50 levels. 50 was the low seen in 2008-9 crash when it made that low in the first quarter of 2009. It had recently, around a month or so back, gone to around the same levels, and from there it has started bouncing and given a monthly MACD positive crossover at the end of April. So a lot of those factors giving very clear signals that it can bounce very strongly in the near term, and for a stock like that, for it to bounce around 20% till 85 levels should be, I think, easy over the next month or so, and one can again keep a tight stop around 67 levels.
Okay, and any disclosures?
I don't own any of these stocks.
All right, Rishi, thanks very much for joining in.